Welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Madness, the Monday show where I talk about anything and everything. And this week we are once again doing a costume / character design. Insert your choice of whatever you want it to be here. And this week I asked you guys to vote once again, and you guys chose non-binary. So last week we did a transgender outfit. I will put it here. It is a sort of character / deity / costume. I'm basically practicing my designing skills, and it's Pride Month, so why the hell not? So we started with a trans character, and now we're going to move to a non-binary one. So of course this means I'm going to have to do a fuck ton of research, because as I stated in the last video, they do not make you take a written exam on the history of your people when you realise that you are a member of the LGBT community. So I'm going to do that research myself. So let's go look up some non-binary history and see what kind of character design we can come up with. Also, once Pride Month is over, I'll be opening up to you guys so you can send me your characters or just your ideas or hell, a description of you yourself, and I'll design an outfit based on you. I'm going to keep this series going because I need to practice my designing skills, and I might even try and make some of these as well. So let me know any of those. You can DM me over on Instagram, or you can chuck it in the comments here, whatever you want to do. Anything that you would like me to design based around a concept or a theme or a character in particular, or your D&D character, whatever it is, let me know as well. All right, research time. So, as part of my research, looking up just like the history and non-binary and trans people and all this stuff, and just the fact that there is so many, it is pretty darn cool, I have to say. Alright, so this is just pretty darn cool. So I'm looking up people, and I've got to the public universal friend. I feel like I've heard of this person before, probably in a video about queer history and stuff. So this is an evangelical preacher, I think. Hang on, what was it? Evangelical preacher? Just look at the fit. Excellent, amazing, love the hair. Non-binary, non-conforming, religious leader, non-conforming preacher in colonial New England. So the public universal friend nearly died and then came back and then completely just changed their life and pronouns. Born in Rhode Island in 1752, identified as female at birth, and the friend was the 8th child of 12, bloody hell, only 8 years old when the mother died, father never remarried, blah, 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 blah. Okay, growing up, the friend attended a local Quaker meeting, early 20s religious group called New Baptists, religious leaders, and then the friend was drawn to the intensity of meetings a few years later. Right, so the friend fell ill with a contagious and deadly fever that spread throughout the community. The friend survived, but they were transformed by the experience of nearly dying. So they told their family they had died, and the Spirit of God had brought them back to life as a new person who was neither male nor female. The new person was called the Public Universal Friend and lived only to serve God. The friend refused to respond to the name Jemima Wilkinson. They dressed in a combination of male and female clothing, including vests, neckties, and skirts. They kept their hair short on top of their head with ringlets in the back. This person sounds legendary. So I feel like I'm the last person to know about this, so if you've seen many videos on this before, I am so sorry, but yeah, public universal friend, what a friggin' legend. Yes. Continuing on the research, so we have Thomas Beatty, or Batty, I'm assuming Beatty, from February 1869 to February, wow, died the day after their birthday in 1954. Who used also the name Irene Clyde, English gender non-conforming, international lawyer, writer, and activist. God damn, that's a lot of hats to be wearing. Prominent legal scholar and authority in international law. God damn. So, pretty darn cool. We also have Claude Cowan. Claude Cowie. Oh man, it even tells me how to pronounce it. Claude Cowie. Yeah, that. French, a realist, photographer, sculptor, and writer. Yeah, you look like a photographer. That's a photographer's picture. So, pseudonym Claude, best known as a writer and self-portraitist. Well, there we go then. There we go. Who assumed a variety of performative persona. Mostly referred with grammatically feminine words, but also said the gender was actually fluid. For example, writing masculine, feminine. It depends on the situation. Ooh, love that. Here is another one, Jenny Jane. Excellent photo. Jenny Jane posing as a modern living replica of ancient Greek statue of Hermaphroditus. Oh, yes. That's amazing. 1895 to 1922. I've tried to go for the ones that are sort of before the 1900s because there was a lot in the 1900s. Pseudonym of American writer from the Victorian and Edwardian era, known for advocating for the rights of people who do not conform to gender and sexual norms. June was one of the earliest transgender individuals to publish an autobiography in the United States. Although June expressed a lifelong desire to be a woman, June consistently used he, him pronouns to reference himself in his own writing. June wrote a feeling like a combination of male and female. Very, very cool. Again, these are just some great pictures. If I ever get famous enough to have a Wikipedia page, I need to have like the best picture on it. Okay, so Osh-Tish finds them and kills them. Nice. Male-bodied person in a crow community who takes part in some of the same social and ceremonial roles usually filled by women in that culture. Cool. Okay, so Osh-Tish fought in the Battle of the Rosebud, just excellent name right there, as recounted by Pretty Shield. During the battle, Osh-Tish and a woman named the other Magpie served Bullsnake, and Osh-Tish later shot a... Ooh, goddamn, so awesome warrior. Okay, cool. In the late 1890s, an American agent named Briscoe, tasked with forcing planes engines to assimilate into the dominant culture, jailed... oh my god! Forced them to get masculine haircuts. This is horrific! The crow he considered their badets, valuable members of the community, particularly known for needlework and cooking, were outraged, as you should be, saying this abuse went against their nature. This is horrific. See, this is the sad part of looking into the history of things like this. It was a tragedy. I agree. Good grief. All right. This is like the 100th one of these that I filmed, so if you are seeing all of them, I am very sorry, and if this is one of the ones that I decide to put in the video, welcome to the like 100th one. I'm reading them through in sort of alphabetical order. Alright, so 1849, so future editing me, try not to put too many in from the 1900s, they're very exciting and interesting, but there are so many, try to go earlier than that. Okay, Zuni Native American from New Mexico, notable weaver and potter. Oh, cool. Why does everyone in this have cool jobs? We've had like international lawyers, we've had potters and artists. Do you think there might possibly be a correlation between being creative and interesting and cool and artistic and, you know, not conforming to strict binary? Do you think there might be a correlation? No? Anyway, they served as a cultural ambassador for Native Americans in general. Oh, cool, an ambassador too. And in particular serving as a contact point and educator for many European American settlers, teachers, soldiers, and missionaries. Oh, cool. Adoptive family was one of the richest and most influential in Zuni culture, placing in a privileged position to assert ceremonial importance. That is so cool. I am butchering names. I'm so sorry. 1886, Wewa was part of the Zuni delegation to Washington, D.C., and during the visit, met the president. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay, so in traditional culture, male-bodied people who take on social and ceremonial roles usually performed by women. Cool. Hang on, let me just see. Hang on, how do I pronounce this? It doesn't tell me. Great, thanks, Wikipedia. Thanks, great, thanks. Friendship with anthropologists. Oh my god, this is just so cool. All right, let's try and design an outfit that is worthy of the history. Good grief, I'm gonna try. So this is the rough sketch idea of what we have got right now. I have been through a lot of my friends. I have been through a lot of non-binary core, non-binary outfits, non-binary aesthetic. I have been through so much, and I have come to the conclusion that dungarees, just dungarees. I cannot explain it. Yep, dungarees. So I am going to have dungarees, but they're going to be like baggy and cool and funky. I'm going to put some funky patterns on them. These might be the sort of dyed colours of the non-binary flag, because you've got 4 colours to play with, which I really, really like. So they might be sort of striped or tie-dyed and splatty. So that's what they're going to be. I've also incorporated 2 different types of sleeves. This is to lean into the whole like no one binary thing, but also because I really, really, really wanted to include some stuff from the really, really ancient cultures and all the way back to, was it the Zuni people? Let me find them. I wrote them somewhere. I'm butchering names, but basically that felt kind of important, but I didn't want it to turn into like a costume or some sort of like cultural appropriation. So instead it's inspiration from and appreciation of, if that makes any kind of sense. So I've gone with one side being the diamondy patterns, which are going to be black and white. And on this side, it's going to be a sort of white creamy base with blue and red and yellow, colorful or different colors depending. But I saw a lot of blue and red and I really like those. Those colors are going to be in the little sort of suns and star shapes with lots of beading on them as well. And then dungarees and a top underneath, because crop tops, you know, way to go. So I'm going to switch this to digital art now, so I'll be back. This is what is occurring right now. I have gone with crop top, and the sleeves are slowly happening. I have so many reference images they can't all fit on one screen. Alright, bear with. Alright, so this is where we are at right now. I have done the beaded sleeve, I have done the I was going to say triangle sleeve, the diamond sleeve. And I've gone with a sort of gold for the skin tone. We have blue for trans, and for this one, I wanted to do gold to take it back to those. I really love this like Hindu deity statue and all the golds in there. So I've decided to go for gold skin for this one. I've also got a simple version of the shoes. I'll edit those in a minute, but we're not going for hyper realistic, remember? And this is the base color for the Dungarees. I am now going to be splodging them with all different colors because I'm feeling artistic and creativity, because a lot of the non-binary and gender non-conforming people that I looked at in history were very creative. Some of them were medicinal and things like this, but a lot of them were like photographers and artists and stuff. So I'm definitely going to go with a slightly messy and scrappy paint splashed pair of dungarees. I have to admit, this one weirdly is feeling a little more sort of like an everyday outfit, whereas the trans one was definitely more of a costume or a sort of deity figure. This one is feeling almost more grounded, which I guess is good because I don't want every single one of them to feel the same, like I'm not creating deities kind of thing. So I'm quite liking this, but I am going to try and go for a little bit of not quite completely here. Maybe they can have fairy wings. I like that. Okay, non-binary fairy wings, here we come. Well, we started with this and a bunch of concepts. I didn't end up including this design because I just felt it was a bit too on the nose, and I didn't do it for trans people and everything. But we've used the flag, we've used all the different concepts going back through Hindu deities and all the way through different cultures, and this thing about the public universal friend, who I absolutely love. The sleeve designs are based on the Zuni culture, and I tried to include a bunch of references to Hindu deities as well because of so many of them that are androgynous or genderless or both genders or non-binary and all these different wonderful things. So I have tried to incorporate as much of that as I possibly can. I also incorporated the dungarees because they just felt right, and this is the end result. I've tried to incorporate the non-binary flag as much as possible without it literally being a flag. So we've got the blacky grey, we've got the white, the yellow, and the purple. We have got the boots because I just really liked them. I did splashes of paint and colour all over the dungarees to reference back to the artist and creative people all through history who have been non-binary. I've also gone for a sort of non-binary. I went for a sort of mullet hair because every time I asked any of my friends, and any time I was typing into online for like non-binary core or non-binary aesthetic, just this hair always came up, and I just think it's quite a cute look. I also put some streaks into the hair in the non-binary colours. I have done the sleeve designs. I have done this one, so hopefully it looks like beading. Can you see all the non-binary bead colours? And then you've got this side, which has got the diamond designs. Both of these sleeves, again, taken from the pictures that I found referencing the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful clothing traditionally worn in the Zuni stuff. Again, if I'm butchering these names, I'm very, very sorry. I went for a sort of orangey background to sort of match with the tone of the whole thing. So we've got the golden skin, we've also got the yellows and the purples, and I just think this sort of orangey colour that really went with it, and the flowers as well. I decided to give more nods to the Hindu deities in the jewellery as well, and the placement, because I kept finding it in the different statues and pictures that I found, and I just thought it was really freaking beautiful. The decision to make this character design a fairy came fairly quickly, but also seems to make a lot of sense. I really like it. It gives an extra pop of yellow, and it's extra sparkly, and oh, I might add some extra sparkle. 1 second. Okay, I've edited it. I've righted this wrong, so I have done some sparkly, 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 sparkly bits from the wings. So this is a non-binary fairy character slash costume slash outfit slash design, I guess. Anyway, so the tiefling design I did for the transgender one, it felt so fitting. And to be honest, I feel a big, strong pull towards the non-binary label as well. So I poured a little bit of myself into this one too, as I do a lot of things. Anyway, fairies having the wings and just this freedom and ability to soar. Freedom is a strong word that a lot of my non-binary friends were saying, that it feels very freeing to sort of just be you. And so this ability to be free and fly and soar, I think it kind of works. And I was also thinking, I don't want to completely make this just a human design, when I realized that I had done the last one as a blue skinned tiefling. So this one is a golden fairy, and I will put the final design on the screen for you so you can see it in even bigger detail. So what do you guys think? This is my second costume slash character design for Pride, and what should I do next? I will put a list of things for you guys to vote for on Instagram and TikTok, I think. But you can also let me know what you would like in the comments as well. All right. Bye.